Okay, let's go ahead and look at this shoulder kind of strap that we've got going on here now. I should have mentioned in the last video that I'm not just going to leave this kind of belt here just ending like that. I'm definitely going to put something on the end of it, but that I treat as a metal component, so I'll kind of leave that like it is for now. Okay, so apologies for not explaining that sooner. And we are going to have to make a duplicate of this vest. So we'll make a duplicate of the vest again, we'll hide the real vest, and we'll just redraw this sash that we've got going on here. So IMM curve, wide strap, but I'm going to go down to something like, let's try not 540 but 50 instead. Okay, so we'll kind of try to memorize the trajectory that we had going on here with the original strap. Oh dear, not criticizing, didn't criticize, it's fine, it's okay. It takes a small eon before it autosaves, but it saved my work, so I can't criticize it. Okay, so we're just going to follow that trajectory there that we've got going on. Okay, let's go ahead and start again. So from down here, follow that all the way down. Join it back around here. Oh, no. There we go. And back up top. Okay, now we've just got to have to try and snap this as best as we can to the normals on the surface. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of taking this area into account a little bit. That's not too bad though, we can fix that. And this area here, so we want it a bit overextended from where it's reaching at the moment. So it is reaching over that ring, sorry, but that's probably ideal for now. I'm happy with that. We'll alt click that, and let's just use the move brush in general, and we'll just kind of move it up and out a bit. Okay, and this part here, you can see it's going over that area there, so I'm just going to pull from the top and push that out a bit, and just see that's a little bit kind of not smooth. Could have used shift click for that, but that's okay. Sometimes it's better to manually adjust things. And then we'll have that sash just sit atop that one there, and this one will just have it go a bit more direct. And then of course that tucks under the shoulder guard that we've got going on. Okay, so there you go, we've got a much more nicely constructed kind of cross strap here. Okay, fabulous. So what we're going to do there is we're going to do, I would say, exactly the same thing, same kind of style as the belt that we've done down here. Okay, so you know what comes next. We are going to have to go to polygroups, auto group that. Okay, and we're going to just keep that, and we'll delete the dummy vest mesh. Which is, yep, so we're going to modify topology, delete hidden, and we'll bring back the real vest. Okay, cool. Right, so on this now, let's see what a subdivide gets us. Okay, so again, like the strap below, not too bad. I just decided whether I want it to be a bit crisper than that. This looks a bit too soft almost, so I'm just going to undo that. I am going to tell it to crease its edges now. I'm going to divide it, and I just want to see, yeah, so I think that's better. So what I'll do is I'll just crease it and subdivide it, so I've got harsh edges like I want, but then I'm just going to just gently go through and manually smooth it, just so, you know, it looks a bit more in control. I'm just going to go about, like I said there, manually smooth this out a little bit. Okay, because I don't want it to be as smooth as if it wasn't creased. That was a bit too smooth for me. Okay, something like that. It's a bit more what I was sort of picturing myself. Okay, right, now with that sort of subdivided, there we go. We are going to just go around once more, just as we've been doing so far. Just again hint at those edges there, and it will go through and use the trim dynamic tool as well. Okay, so just very much on the edges there. Again, just this low poly. Actually, maybe we could do, we'll go a bit higher on the polygon count. Bit too much still. Okay, or just go around very, very lightly. Try and be as consistent as you can going around the edge. I know it's quite difficult, but just try to do your best and follow the curvature. And the trim dynamic brush, as you saw earlier, it kind of takes care of a lot of this anyway. And to be honest, once we kind of get some detail in the straps here and the belts, these kind of inconsistent contours won't matter so much. Maybe increase the intensity a little bit more. There we go. Let's change the material a bit so we can sort of see maybe what's going on. Let's try, where's the wet clay one? That's a bit too dark. Where's the, there we go, let's try this so we can sort of see it a bit better. Nearly there. Okay, now back to the trim dynamic brush. Find a good size. I'll try somewhere near the back end of a 20s. Yeah, that looks alright, and I'm just going to follow it along. There you go, just kind of trimming it down. Just you can see, just pushing the edges away just so that they're a bit more consistent and flattening the strap at the same time. It's such a wonderful brush this, isn't it? It really, really is a dynamic brush. It well deserves its name. Really, really cool. Okay, a little bit more, nearly there. Okay, and just do a quick smooth pass. Okay, bring everything back, and there we go. Okay. Right, let's look at this kind of shoulder guard here. We're not done just yet. Let's look at this shoulder guard here. Now, I don't want such a complicated design for this one, to be honest with you. I just want quite a simple... I say that a lot, I apologise. But I do just want a very... What can I say? I'm really wanting to say simple, but I'll refrain from using it. But a very sort of non-complicated, not a complex kind of shape. So essentially, what I mean is, I probably just want to actually, I'm going to Dynamesh it. So I'm just going to kind of push that in a little bit and just have like a kind of shaved corner. I'm basically borrowing the idea I had from here. Can you see there that that part there's kind of a bit chamfered? I was going to go for something like that, but on this base layer here as well. Okay, so just going to kind of essentially just get rid of this like little sort of, oh, the mask tool has changed. Get rid of this kind of area there. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to get rid of. Where's my mask curve? There you go. Just get rid of. Oh dear, what's happened to my mask brush? Mask pen, that's what I want. Okay, just get rid of that little corner there. So I'm probably actually just going to, I think the best way to sort of do that is to, yeah, let's Dynamesh it. Okay, so we'll Dynamesh it. We won't Dynamesh it. We will instead, let's just kind of push that edge in a little bit. Looks a little bit messy, I know, but it should be alright, because Z-Remesh it is almost like a Dynamesh essentially. I just kind of tuck that in a bit. And we'll Z-Remesh this. Let's say we'll go for half. And there we go. We've got rid of that kind of corner point there. We could just make it a bit more sharp. And we could do the same for this side as well. Okay. Actually, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'll just undo that. I'll just tidy this up a bit. Don't want to smooth it, even though it's tempting to do so. Just try your best to get that corner sorted. Let's do half again. Okay, yep, there we go. So half is definitely the trick there. This is kind of almost delete polys. Okay. And now we'll tell it to double itself. It's smoothed that. Okay, let's undo that. We'll say crease. And it has made a creasing there. Oh, actually, let's undo that, sorry. I know I keep undoing things. Oh, it's already kind of creased. Oh, interesting. Okay. Right, we'll do Z remesh and we'll say detect edges, and we'll get rid of the creases. Actually, we want to keep the creases. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Right, a little bit off again, so oops. Okay, there we go. And remember, it's a patch of leather, so it's not going to be amazing, you know, completely aligned. If this was a bit of metal, that's a bit of a different story, but it is just leather here. Okay, so don't get too hung up on it. If it looks a little bit skewed and whatnot, that all kind of adds to the realism of leather. Right, let's just keep the same. We'll Z remesh it. Okay, it's starting to smooth that out. That's alright, because now that we've got the curvature, we can just keep tweaking it, even though Z remesh likes to smooth it. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So there we go, we've got that kind of style instead. Alright, so I'm just going to use the move tool, but I'm just going to move that over a bit more, because I sort of want it to hang off the shoulder like it is right there. Okay, and I'm just going to raise this up a little bit, push it down there, just to try and avoid as much clipping as possible, and just have a look at the lie of it. And here, I think I'm just going to shrink it almost here, just move it in. And I want this strap to basically go into this flat section there. Okay, so I'm just going to edit the trajectory of the strap slightly. There you go. Okay, so let's see. No, same thing here, sorry. Let's just do that. There we go. Let's just see what subdividing gets us it. We'll see if it creases it too much. It's okay. Not too bad, not too bad. But I think if I smooth it now, yeah, so almost very similar to what was happening with the belt there. I've got smoothed edges. I think I'll subdivide it one more time. Let's try. There we go. So smoothing it now gives you the effect you want. So it can just be a bit of playing around with the creases. I'll just smooth it slightly. Don't want to smooth it too much. Just want to give it a bit of an edge. Bit of a softer edge around there. Because again, it's leather, it's not metal, so it shouldn't have such a sharp edge. Should be quite soft. Even when it comes into a point, it should be softer. Not too harsh a point. Okay. Right, so this part here, let's just push that in a bit more. Okay, I like the look of that. So just seeing where it sits on a shoulder, so it's actually leaning over a shoulder quite a bit. Let's just come down to another subdivision level. We'll kind of push that maybe a bit more. See how it's sitting on her shoulder there. Okay, she's upside down now, that's fine. I'm sure she'll be fine. And just tweak that shape a bit. And I want a bit more of a straight edge here, so I'm just going to pull along that edge. Somewhat like that. Smooth it down a bit. Okay, cool. We've got quite a cool looking little shoulder guard there, and I am basically just going to borrow the idea of this design here. I'm just going to draw something like that in now. I'm not going to use the usual method of layers and whatnot. I'm actually going to extract this out from this surface here, because then it's a different subtool altogether and we can have a bit more flexibility with that. Okay, so where do I want it? I want it sort of here, I think. Actually, you know what I'll do? I think it's going to go into there, so I almost kind of want it to... I've got an idea. I think I want it to have... I'm actually going to change my idea. I'm going to have this section here. I'm going to draw another strap. I'm going to draw another strap. And you'll kind of see what I'm going for in a minute. My brain is kind of chugging through it. So just bear with me a second. But I'm going to go for roughly maybe 60 draw size here. Is it? Let's just test that out. I can't because it's multiple subdivision levels. So I'm going to duplicate it again. Hide the original. I'll delete the lower subdivision, it's fine. Okay, now we'll draw it on here. Yes, that thickness looks good to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw that on top here. And then snap it to the normal a bit more. There we go. Okay. And I'm happy with that. Alt click. And let's move it up a bit. And then actually let's just use the trick. We'll kind of mask off the edge. Mask that off. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's go to polygroups, auto groups. There we go. So I just want to use the rotate tool. Get rid of the gizmo. We'll use the old-fashioned way, and we'll just point that guy's end down a bit. So right, actually let's leave it a bit skewed like that. That looks good. That looks realistic. Mask that off. Let's demask this end here, and we'll do exactly the same thing. Get the old school rotation tool down, and we'll just rotate him down there and skew him over a bit. Okay, so this is my thinking. I probably should have explained this before I actually just went ahead and did it, but essentially, no, just the top. Mask the top part, please. Yes, there we go. Okay, so what I thought, instead of actually having like another layer like that, I just thought let's just have an extra chunk like that, an extra sort of strap. And just looking at it now, let's go to the gizmo, and I think I will want to, let's alt click somewhere there. Oops. Undo the padlock, sorry. Alt click there. I'm just going to change the width ever so slightly. Basically, I wanted it to sort of just clip into here. It would just sort of slot into there. So if I take this strap now and I move him out, I'll have to stretch him a little bit, unfortunately, but such things are natural casualties of a redesign. I'll just have it sort of tuck into this part there. And I think that actually looks quite cool. That kind of gives it an extra layer to it. Makes it look a little bit better than just having a, I don't know, sort of a smaller component on top of this shoulder guard here. Okay. And this part here, I think what we could do is, if I'm just thinking about this correctly, that ring is probably going to have to be moved up a little bit more. So it's probably going to sit more around here. So with that in mind, I've got to go back to this, and I will move this guy a bit more further down. Lift him up. And remember, we're still working on that kind of proxy shoulder guard. Okay, so we're not going to lose much there, but now we can afford to go to geometry, and we'll get rid of that proxy shoulder guard, and we'll go back and actually bring in the real one. Okay, let's see what a creasing, subdivide gets us. Subdivide gets us, it's quite smooth, or it's lost a lot of its thickness, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to crease it again, subdivide it again, so I've got that thickness there, and now I'll just be, after I've moved it up a little bit to get its full thickness on show. Okay, now I'll go ahead and I'll just kind of smooth the edges myself, but not whilst it's so low in points. I'll subdivide it maybe at least once more. There we go, about 3,000 active points. Subdivide it again and just be a bit more in control of this particular strap here. I say it's a strap, but it's an extra add-on on the top. Okay, just gently grazing the edge there, just so it looks a bit smoother. Now, of course, we've got this conflict that we're not addressing here with the collar. We will have to address that. Let's do that now. Let's just move the collar. The collar's going to move up because obviously it's going to be sat on top of this, so that's fine if the collar is sat a little bit higher. It's not a problem. It's more realistic that way. And we'll just kind of tuck the collar in a bit more. Oops. Okay, there we go. We've got this poor little ring sat here by himself. Let's move him up. So he's probably going to sit more around there now. I think that's a better trajectory. So let's go ahead and we'll move this strap to actually, instead of moving it, we'll kind of mask it off. Let's go a bit lower subdivision level. Soften the mask, flip the mask, and use the classic rotation tool and just get it to rotate there. And then now, using the move tool, we'll just extend him artificially. Okay. Right, fabulous. I think that, I've been working in the green clay this whole time. I think that looks better. That's starting to really sort of shape up now. I'll just tweak that. There we go. Okay, I'm really starting to like the look of this now. I think that looks a lot better than what was there before. I think that's really starting to take form and shape now. The straps are all kind of working very well. I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out. All we've got to do now is kind of sculpt some detail on this here. We've got a few more. I would say we'll carry on with a few straps here. We've got a few straps to address down here, so we'll kind of do them next. And then once all the straps have kind of been recreated, all their shapes finalized, and there goes the autosave again, which means it's a good time to end the video. We'll go ahead and we'll start sculpting in some very, very light folds, depending on how thick your strap is and how how stretched it is. So there will be some very, very light folds just to stop it looking like a slab, essentially, just to make it look a little bit more leathery, because leather is, well, it can have folds in it, just not very many.